You are about to listen to the Neverdaily podcast.
This is the biggest thing since the Zapruder film.
So many questions.
I don't have any answers.
But please don't stop listening
To the Neverdaily podcast.
Welcome to the Neverdaily podcast, your source for the questions that the source of information asks. We dredge the bottom of the source's questions and ask the tough questions about how they came to ask the question. We then, as your only source for questions, bring them to you so that you too can ask the questions that probe the minds of the only sources we could find who asked the questions to find the answers. I'm your host, the operator, and this is Kent Chungus.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
So we were at HorrorHound. And you know what? Let's keep the year. Let's keep the date and year off of this so that this episode can remain evergreen. So unless HorrorHound goes the way of the dodo, someone will be like, "Oh, they were at HorrorHound 2029." They were at HorrorHound 2032. Oh, but also, like, I don't know if podcasts will be around when Jesus comes back, so no one will be saying, "Oh, they were at HorrorHound 2033."
Well, I mean, just talking about like the celebrities and stuff that were there, though, would be dating the episode because half of them will be dead. And it's like, oh yeah, we were at HorrorHound and we ran into Boris Karloff. It's like,
yes, but on brand as we are, because if you heard my intro, we dredge the bottom of the source's questions and ask the tough questions about how they came to ask the questions.
Yeah,
so
that was my favorite.
We'll be making a question baby in our listeners' ears as to like, oh, I need to do the research now. I have a question to ask. Which year was this? So we'll just keep it honest. Anyway, so we were at HorrorHound. I thought it would be fun to do. I hate it when people do travel logs, you know, because you weren't there. The listener wasn't there. So that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Why do that to them?
Right.
But then the second thought I had is we have microphones, no sense of when to turn them off.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a bit of a travelogue.
Okay. What's a travelogue?
Travelogue is basically a journaling of your adventures.
Okay.
So really quick, I think we could probably both. I'm pretty sure both of us could fast forward through our travels to Indianapolis, to HorrorHound. I'm not going to say the city.
Yeah, up until the point of parking, it was uneventful and
that's right.
Easygoing.
I never saw your car after you arrived because I believe you had to park in Gary, Indiana, in order to find parking.
I parked in Ohio and then caught a flight
to
Convention Center.
Conventions. So we roll up. It's kind of a blur. How did we get? I took an Uber. Oh yeah, that's right. You came in a little bit behind me, so I had time to take a nap. And then I came down to the lobby and got you because here's the thing. If you ever stay in the Indianapolis, the Marriott in Indianapolis, the Westin in Indianapolis, be prepared to have a totally inconsequential gripe about something. The elevators only work if you use your room key. You have to swipe your room. You have to tap. You hold it against the thing. It's like beep doop, and then
it's
you
4-star hotel, so everything is annoying.
And you never stop hearing it. Everyone gets in the elevator and they're like, "Oh, my freaking room! Gotta use my room key." And then, but the thought occurred to me this. If you've ever stayed in a hotel more than 3 times, you've forgotten your room key at some point. So you never leave your room without your room key because no one says, I can't get into my room because I don't have my room key, because that's just nature. Nature builds it that way where that's what keeps you safe in your room is nobody else has the room key for you. So you take your room key with you. But then we all complain when we have to pull the thing out of our pocket that we already had anyway. The whole time we were staying at that hotel, we get grumpy because we have to swipe the room key again. It's in our pocket. We know it's there. It's not like it's asking us to pull out plutonium and swipe it against the thing.
Or you
No?
can just use your app.
Yeah.
Siri.
Okay, so that brings us to the next part, which is Kent texts me, says, I'm downstairs. They won't let me come up because I don't have a room key yet. And I'm like, okay. So I go down and I get him. I hand him his room key. I'm like, this is your room key. And as we're going up the elevator, I say, also, if you want to shortcut this, you can actually put it into your phone, the app, the Marriott app. And then when you get to the door, you just push unlock key and it unlocks your door. And one step further, if you have an iPhone and not a potato like you have, you can add it to Siri. So you can say...
Yeah, well, it turns out my phone is just as adequate at opening the fucking door as yours is. Carry on.
Exactly. Because Kent has all of his luggage and his room key in his hand.
Holding my room key. It's between my fingers.
And I go to the door and I say...
in there with all my stuff.
And I don't have anything in my hands.
No.
And except for my phone. And I say, hey, Siri, unlock door. Hey, Siri, unlock door. Hey, Siri,
and I'm just
door.
like at this point, just looking down the hall and shaking my head.
Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri.
We've been with each other at this point for 4 minutes.
Hey, Siri, unlock door. And it never unlocks. And then I see your big giant banana hand unclenches to reveal a crumpled up room key. And you grab it and you just tap it against the door. It opens. And you get your 5 foot by 5 foot body and all of your luggage through the doorway somehow in one fell swoop. And then you say, 4 minutes up. 4 minutes. We begin to get together. 4 minutes.
And that was a new record for you irritating the shit out of me. What did you? Okay, let's let's rewind this to that moment that I'm standing there holding everything and I'm sweating and I've got my room key and I have to entertain this stupid little thing that you're doing where you're trying to open the hotel room door with your phone. Even if it went just perfect. If you said, Siri, open the door, and the door opened, how do you think, like in your head, how do I react?
Oh, good question. See, that's
you want me to tell you how I react?
Yeah.
This is how it goes, even if things went perfectly in your head. Siri, open door. Click. I go, that's dumb. And then I go in the room.
Well, okay. But here's the thing is it, when you asked that question just now, how do I react? In my head, I'm like, I don't know, because I truly am not doing it to like impress. I was just like, this saves time.
You were doing it to impress. You were like, you would say, hey, Siri, and then you were looking at me to make sure I was paying attention to what was happening.
But in my heart, I feel like I wasn't doing it to impress. I was just doing it to save time, which seems to be...
Who is that gonna impress? The only way that would impress is if you had went down to the lobby and picked up a caveman.
Yeah.
If you had brought Brandon Fraser back to the room from Encino Man, and he's like, oh, that little box open door.
But
because nobody else is just gonna fuck with that.
Okay, here's a question. Raise your hand, even if you're a listener and if you've been around me, raise your hand if this has ever happened where I'm like, hang on, I gotta fix for this. I got an answer. I gotta fix. And then an awkward amount of time passes where I'm kind of quiet, looking away at a screen or something. And then you're like, we could just, you say, You say something like, no, we'll just move forward. I say, hang on. I forgot to install. Forgot to configure. Hold on. And then an awkward amount of time, I had the solution tucked away in my brain, like maybe months ago, but I forgot to ever set it up or ever plug it in or ever configure or even log into whatever the solution. And I end up wasting 8,000 pounds of time. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you.
It happens every 15 minutes.
I know.
That we're with you.
Do you remember this one, Kevin's friend Kent? Do you remember this one, Kevin's friends Kent? Do you remember when the night was done and everybody, and actually Kevin in this case was like, hey, let's go up to the hotel room and we can, record a live podcast together because Sam brought his podcasting equipment. And we're all like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And we got up to the room and everybody did what they're going to do, got high or drank some sinful drinks. I don't remember. Oh, I remember what I was doing. Unboxing my social media, my podcasting equipment for the first time ever out of the box.
Which you had to go through TSA with that. Looks just like a bomb.
It does.
Like if you asked a kid to draw a bomb, it looks like the designers initially started trying to make a bomb, actually, and accidentally made podcasting equipment.
It does. And also, you just made me think of an excellent domain name that while you're talking, I'm looking, oh my gosh, it's available. Podtonium.com.
Oh, wow. I don't care.
Make it yours. $11.99. Doing it. But yeah, so I didn't configure it at all. I didn't even have enough ports to plug in all the mics. Anyway, I seem to have a problem with that. I have the solution, but it's sort of like saying I went to college for all the math to send a spaceship to the space-mosphere, but I forgot to actually do all the math to prepare us to go to the space-mosphere, and everybody's at the launch. And I'm like, hang on. I haven't built the rocket yet, but I got all the math for it.
No,
Hold
everybody's at the launch waiting to get on the spaceship, and you're going, hey, Siri, open spaceship door. Siri, open spaceship door.
It's the only way to get in.
And it turns out it doesn't work.
Oh, why am I actually actively doing it right now? I kid you not. I should share my screen. GoDaddy.com. Continue to cart for podtonium.com. Do I have a reason for this? Will I ever use this?
Nope.
Okay, fine. See, asking you just saved me $11.99. And if you weren't here, I would have spent it.
Don't worry. You'll spend it on a garden hose that'll be in its box on your shelf for 3 years.
You know
before you sell it for $3.
How did you know I've got a 50-foot, one of those like collapsible garden hoses?
Yeah, they're not worth a shit.
I've got one on my shelf. Right.
We did rent scooters though.
That was fun.
Because if you want to eat at a 4-star hotel, at any point, the only thing it costs is your firstborn child. And they also have to check your credit, and you got to get set up on a payment plan. Because everything there was so overpriced, it was insane. So we found a Speedway,
which is a gas station.
Yeah.
Also, would you agree? Most ingenious invention ever invented, these scooters, because the only people that are going to use the majority of people that are going to use them are drunk, and they're also indestructible. And also the trip from Indianapolis to the gas station and back cost, was it $8, $6?
One way. So it was $16 there and back.
Cheaper than an Uber, maybe. Cheaper. But if I'm drunk and I use
way more fun than an Uber.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to fall off. And also get hit by cars. Also, there's a process to stop the experience. You got to beep it and scan it and take a picture of your scooter and everything. I'm going to go out on a limb and say drunk people that use these forget to do that crap all the time. So suddenly it's not $6, it's $60.
Yeah.
This is an ingenious business model.
I don't know how many of those scooters end up in like creeks and shit though.
Yeah, the thing about it though is if you ever watched like a robot movie, it breaks something, but 90% of the thing can be repurposed into another scooter. And so, Lime Scooters is just going picking up dead scooters and going back, and some robot probably is actually rebuilding another robot of it. I just am blown away by the business model. It's so ingenious. Yeah, we went to Speedway. Well, we got snacks.
Yep.
I saw Faygo. I saw one flavor of Faygo and I was like, oh my gosh, Faygo. And so I grabbed the Faygo, and then next to it,
you're a juggalo.
yeah. And I said, oh my gosh, there's another flavor of Faygo. Oh my gosh, there's another. I had 4 Faygos and a vanilla Pepsi and then 2 bags of chips. What did you get? I can't remember what you got.
I don't know how this matters, but I got, it doesn't. I got stuff. I got some hot fries. I got some shit. It doesn't matter. What does it? It doesn't matter.
You got hot fries, which were actually hot. But what was fun about those hot fries is they were literally a neon color. So what happened was you were wearing a Freddy. No. You were wearing a Friday the 13th
Michael Myers
shirt, Michael Myers, and it was all neon colors of his face. And at one point we're talking and you're sitting in the hotel chair and I'm sitting on my bed and we're talking, and you went to put one in your mouth and it fell out of your hand before it went in your mouth. And then you kind of looked down and you're like, where'd it go? And I had to get off the bed and come over.
Yeah.
And look in the myriad gradients of neon colors of Michael Myers' face to find a 3-inch long hot Cheeto. It was the same colors.
I'll tell you one thing I did get at the gas station was 2 burritos.
Oh, I don't remember those.
You do remember them because you ruined the burrito experience for me. 2 frozen burritos out of the fridge. I thought food's expensive at the hotel. I'll probably need this in the morning. This would be a quick breakfast. Turns out I would eat edibles and then I would need it that night.
Yeah.
But we got back to the hotel and our shenanigans went on, and then we got back and I was like, I'm going to eat that burrito now. That burrito sounds amazing. And I heated the burrito up. And I was just going to enjoy my burrito. I was going to sit on my bed and watch. I don't even remember what we had playing. I think it was Jurassic Park.
Nope. The first night there, we watched something. It was really good.
Snowpiercer.
That's right.
Doesn't matter because you've got your bed and you can fucking do what you want to do on your bed.
Yeah.
And I don't judge you. I don't have any control over what you do in your bed. You chose to sleep with that disgusting top cover that never gets washed, that has
comforter.
God knows how many gallons of semen and vaginal fluid and snot and blood and everything else on it. And you just wrapped up in that thing like a burrito yourself. And I kept pointing out how disgusting that is. And you kept insisting that it was fine. And not only that, you spilled half of a jug of blue Faygo on it, and then you continued to sleep with this now dyed blue semen covered blanket all weekend, the whole weekend.
I rotated it so the blue was down at the bottom foot corner that I knew I wasn't going to be.
Oh yeah, and the semen was still right under your chin. And the first thing I do anytime I get to a motel room is throw that thing in the corner.
You do.
Get rid of it.
And we kept having maid service come in. 2 things became true. 1, they kept putting it back on the bed until the last night.
Which was infuriating, yeah.
But then they learned that you're not going to use it, and so they just folded it and put it neatly down on the floor. On mine, though, surprisingly, I kept a blue-covered Faygo uncomforter the whole time. Like they never swapped it out. So that's kind of creepy.
It was so gross watching you sleep wrapped up in that thing. But that's beside the point. What I'm saying is, I've got my bed the way I like it. You've got yours the way you like it. At no point did I ever try to impede on how you operate within your living space.
Yeah.
I get my burrito, and I've like, a burrito arguably was a food designed to be ate on the go. It's almost like a burrito. It's It's almost like they rhymed it with go, because this is a hand food. This is a food that you eat while you're rollerblading. This is a food that you eat while you're doing your taxes. This is a food that you eat while you're on the subway watching two homeless people fight over an old Pokemon card. This is a food that was... Oh, there's Justine. Too late, we seen her. Tell her to come back.
They seen you. Kent says you got to come back. They seen you. They seen you.
She ran.
They seen you. Get off the scooter and you got to come in and say hi. Yeah, Kent says we saw you. You got to come in. You're like Bigfoot. There's been a sighting. Kent wants to say hi. He just said, oh, too late. We seen you. You got to come back.
If he tells me a joke.
Hey, Justine.
Say hi.
It's live, and there's 100 people watching right now.
Better not be.
She says she's so excited. I had to turn the mic on and off for you guys to hear each other.
Here's your mail
Thanks.
that I don't want in the house anymore.
Okay.
Hey,
Sorry,
Justine.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I need to tell her something. Hold on, I need to tell her something. Can she hear me now? Justine. Why did the ship cross the ocean?
To get to the other tide.
Oh! I must have told you that one. Damn.
And she's out.
So I'm in my bed. I've got my burrito. This food made to be enjoyed on a bed while watching a movie without needing utensils or plates or anything. And I get comfortable on my bed, and I'm happy. I'm not, wrapped up in a blanket that's covered in strangers' cum and just pussy juices and whatever else.
What?
And you stand up like you're offended, and you're like, hold on, I just got an idea. And I'm thinking, oh no, he's going to want to show me something on his phone. He's going to show me he can change the channels on his phone. But it turns out it was worse. You walked over and you got one of those complimentary paper cups. And you would not leave me alone until I put my burrito in the cup.
Because I thought your hand was hot. And it was an XL.
My hand was
long.
fucking fine. My hand was fine. And then, once again, like having a child, just to entertain you, I ate my burrito from a plastic cup like a psychopath.
Well, and I looked over at you at one point, and I was like, ergonomically, that's not working. Because, they're the coffee cups. So it's 3 inches of this XL burrito, which is as long as a baby's forearm, was in the cup, and then the rest was hanging out like it was trying to escape.
Why was me eating a burrito the way it was intended bothering you so much?
It was very hot. You came in and put it down and said, I have to wait for it to cool off. And I was like, hang on. And I solutioneered.
So then I said, you can have my other burrito up. I gave you my other burrito, and then I made you eat yours from a cup.
It was very hard to do. But I felt like I kind of made that Faygo bed and had to sleep in it.
Faygo was the least of your worries about what you were sleeping in.
So also, here's something you didn't get to see was another solutioneer moment that I had. So Aaron of HorrorHound fame, Aaron Crowell, was sitting at the table where the vendors come through and then they get checked in. And he, at one point, if you've ever slept with Aaron, which I have, slept in the same room with Aaron, which I have, Aaron is a really unique dude. He loves skating. He loves horror movies. He's also one of the hosts of Pulp Culture Podcast, which just saw a reboot. So if you're listening to this show, go out and check out Labs right now. There's 5 episodes of the brand new Pulp Culture Podcast, which is off the chain. It really is. I really am enjoying it. He's one of 2 idiot savant hosts of the show. They know everything about HorrorHound and horror movies. Anyway, he's sitting there. When you're in a hotel room with him, he constantly is asking you, hey, do you want a banana?
Because he does. It's like he knows something we don't. about bananas.
He brings bananas to hotel rooms every single time. Also sleeps in a sleeping bag on top of the covers, which to you is probably smart.
And doesn't move at all while he sleeps.
Also, at night, if you catch him late enough, he's a chatterbox, but he's this kind of a chatterbox where he can fall asleep without him even knowing it. So to be like, yeah, that was crazy, Aaron, when this thing happened. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it reminded me of like last Thursday. I was.
He does that. That is so amazing. Aaron.
I don't know how he
conversation, but the problem is, if you talk to him the next day about what you talked about, he fell asleep 10 minutes before that.
Exactly. It was like he got hit by a car and then had a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, we're sitting at the check-in booth for the vendors, and he goes, man, I really need some hand sanitizer. Anybody have some hand sanitizer? None of us did. And I was like, well, there's a sanitizer dispenser out at the other end of the convention hall outside the door. And he's like,
you heard somebody had a problem and you were like, hey, let's make it fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, I was telling him that's where it was. And he said, I can't get up. I got to check people in. I was like, I'll go get you some. And he's like, it'll evaporate before you get here. And I said, hold my root beer. Watch this.
Yeah, watch me make it weird.
I went all the way there, and it's an automated one. So everybody watching me was like, man, a little crowd gathered, and they were like, what is he doing? Head out on the edge. Nahi. Head on the highway to the sanitizer zone. Wow. And they're like, is he going to be able to do it? And because it's automated, I'd have to put my hand under it to go. And I did it like 9 times to make sure I had a pool of hand sanitizer enough in the little cup of my hand. And then I walked it all the way back to him. And I said, who wants some hand sanitizer? He's like, oh, what? Me. Because he doubted that I could do it. But I did it.
Was he impressed?
His hands were sanitized. That's all that matters.
Another episode of impossible mediocrity.
Acts of heroic mediocrity is what I like to call it. No one expects it. It's unimpressive, but I can't stop until it's done.
It's like, wow, that should be impossible, but somehow it's not impressive.
Yeah. It's like I'm Batman of Obviousville.
Like the most useless superhero ever.
Usually I wad up my toilet paper before I wipe, but this guy appeared suddenly and showed me a really unique way to fold it.
We have anything else to talk about from HorrorHound?
Yeah, smell of poop. Did you notice that there was more smell of poop than normal?
Well, that's a convention thing.
Yeah, but it still was like it seemed to be predominantly more. You just passed a section and it was like there were poop ghosts that passed right through you, and you're like, oh,
that's technically what a fart is.
Poop ghosts.
A fart is just the ghost of a poop.
You're right. I never thought of it that way. That's amazing. Poop ghosts. I smelled more
that
poop
many
than
people in one room, in one giant room with poor diet, and half of them are drinking beer. I would say there's probably a fart every 3 seconds in that room.
So if there's a fart every 3 seconds, there's a shart every 10 seconds, 8 seconds, you'd say.
Yeah.
I did. I just smelled more poop than I was used to. Whoever's the producer of the air at HorrorHound, they've successfully created a wall of smell, which is hard to do.
That's not that's any convention for anything.
Yeah.
Just like for any convention, 50% of the people are awesome and 50% of the people are disgusted by deodorant.
I will say the Disney Princess Convention where we took Mona and Bean Bean to see the Disney princesses, not as much poop there. I don't know why that one. Maybe they're giant.
Oh, there was more poop there. It was just muffled by the diapers.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. Okay, I
I
got
would
two more
say that
things.
the aroma at most conventions, especially horror conventions, and this is universal for horror conventions, Scarefest, Mad Monster Party, Texas Frightmare, like all the main two smells in the room is weed and onions.
Yeah. Yeah, I smelled both of those a lot.
Yeah.
It was almost like the Subway sandwiches that were sold at the kiosks had two ingredients you could add to your meat: weed and onions.
Another act of impossible mediocrity. We were standing at, I said, I want a soft pretzel, a big soft pretzel.
Yeah.
And you said, I would like one as well. And then we found a little vendor in the hallway there that had soft pretzels. And the three ladies in front of us got the last soft pretzels. And in my head, I went, that's all the soft pretzels.
Yeah.
And you went and asked, hey, are there any more? And he said, yeah, but it'll be a while before we can get them. And I said, okay. And then I just started thinking about something else.
Yeah.
Maybe we got something we need to do. And I walked away and you were gone.
I walked with you. I walked
For a
away with
little
you.
bit. And then you came back with two soft pretzels, and you just had this stupid fucking look on your face. Just like you had just Wingardium Leviosa two pretzels out of nowhere. And I was like, you stood and waited, didn't you? And then you got them and you were like so proud. And then I ate the pretzel and it turns out another thing that's really impressive is how long it takes you to eat a soft pretzel. It was incredible.
I couldn't understand because in my head I was like, this is a soft pretzel.
Saturday was spent waiting for you to eat a soft pretzel.
We were talking just outside the convention doors, and I'm like, this is a portable food. We could be moving.
Yeah, like a burrito, one would say. Not a food you need a cup for.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on the sitch. Anyway, we're standing there, and I'm eating my soft pretzel, but you were just happy to be standing there. And I was, in my head, I was like, maybe he just needs to relax. So we just stood there eating it. And then I took my final bite, and you said, that was the longest time it's ever taken someone to eat a soft pretzel.
You were eating it like a fucking pelican. Not a pelican, no, like a blue jay. Just take little bitty bites. It was like you were pretending like you didn't have any teeth. And the only way you could swallow it was to put a piece in your mouth and then drink so that you could soggy it up and let it slide down it was maddening. And I had finished my pretzel 3 hours before you did yours. And we were just standing there, not getting anything done. And you kept talking and you would take a little bitty bite and then you would talk for 15 minutes. By the time you were finished, it wasn't even a soft pretzel anymore. It was just a regular pretzel.
Well,
because it was expired.
Each bite is strategic because everyone knows when you pinch off a piece of pretzel, there's a lot of salt on it. And you want a lot of that salt, but your fingers also in pushing the pretzel creates what's called salt attrition, which is where some of the salt is going to make its way to the floor. That's lost. Don't go for it. But you also have to balance pretzel to salt. So you have to be strategic with where you pull the pretzel apart. Otherwise, you're going to get too much salt. Or
why don't you just eat the pretzel?
You could.
Just eat the pretzel.
Yeah, you're right. You could.
Hold it and take a bite.
I learned something about myself at HorrorHound too, and you probably picked up on this. Is I'm a little bit finicky with what I buy or don't buy. And I mentioned it to you. I was like, I really like the Japanese horror movie T-shirts, and you said, yeah. What? Why is that? Why you've mentioned that? I go looking for the Japanese horror movie T-shirts. I was like, I think it has something to do with like. My kids only know that I wear gray T-shirts. So if I like spend the whole day in a shirt with something emblazoned on the front, especially if it's like blood and gore, I feel like I'm messing with their heads. Or if I go out of the house and I go somewhere, I feel like no one knows that I like horror movies so much. I've never told anybody, and I don't like talk about it a lot. I just watch them. And so I feel like I'm I'm kind of intruding on someone else's opinion of who I am by having horror movie paraphernalia emblazoned on my shirt. And so I'm picky with what I buy. So this time I bought 2 shirts. I bought 2. Last time I bought 3. I bought 3 Flash Gordon shirts, and this time I bought 2. I bought an old vintage Mad Max shirt, and I bought an old vintage Plan 9 shirt with Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, meanwhile, there's a leaf blower on the shelf in your garage still in the box that you bought in 2017 that's never been unopened.
That's true. Do I do a lot of video of my garage? Because how accurate you are with what's on my shelves is crazy.
I mean, you just can make assumptions, and you're right 90% of the time. Wendy Peppercorn did tell me she liked my flip-flops, so that kind of made my... From Sandlot, remember the lifeguard? She still looks great at her age, but she liked my Waffle House flip-flops. And I said, thank you, but I call them my white trash slides. And she really enjoyed that, Wendy Peppercorn. So
she's beautiful still. She's just beautiful. She's a beautiful lady. I had one more question for you, because I don't know if you know this, but I try to be a ninja in the morning when I have to get up and leave because there's other people sleeping. Like, I had to get up at...
Yeah, I'm really quiet while you're sleeping, so...
Yeah. You serious? I don't know if quiet and sneaky, those are 2 different things, Kent. So.
I just know that I woke you up apparently at one point, maybe the first night.
Oh, yes. So the first night, Kent and I have slept.
I didn't know it until you told me about it the next day.
No, the next morning I said, hey, how'd you sleep? And he said, I slept pretty good. I was like, you did? Because at 3 a.m., this is what I heard. and then, but that is hard to do when you have 200 miles per hour air being blasted through your face. So it was probably even more than what I woke me up. I'm paralyzed in bed. I've never been to Vietnam, but I was having Vietnam flashbacks. And then it was followed by a percussive 5 minutes of but you said you had a good night's sleep, so we just left it at that.
Pretty good night.
It sounded like someone. Yeah, it sounded like someone.
Not where I thought I was. That's a good night.
Someone stepped on your child or killed your like. I don't know what happened. It was the worst. Like, you were so distraught. I have one more question for you, because I do get up and I try to get sneaky, because my planes are always early in the morning to get all the way back home.
Yeah.
So I got up at I can't remember, 4:45 or 5:45, something like that. Making my way out, and I realized there's often stuff that people have given me that I can't take, because I have I can only take so many glass bottles of root beer with me on a plane.
Yeah.
Unless I want everybody's luggage to share in my root beer after it gets on the plane. So I had to leave a whole pack of Bundaberg ginger beer, a 4-pack behind, because Tracy had in her angelic giveness that she gave me 2 packs, and it was the night before, so I drank 4, which was that's a record for me. But I left that behind. So I had a question. Like, I actually left a poster behind, a Hocus Pocus poster behind, because it had to get signed. My final signature that I needed for that. What do you do with the stuff that I leave behind?
You talking about the ginger beer?
Yeah, like, what happened to that?
It is. I actually had one this morning. It is currently up in my fridge.
Yum.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any way, because we're going to see each other exactly 1 month from now? Do you think it'll be around still?
It will not. It won't be around by the end of this week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Did you get my poster, the Hocus Pocus poster?
I think Kevin has it.
Kevin's got it. Crap. And okay, good. Okay. Just wondering, there's stuff I just can't get, or he was in another room and I wasn't about to go at 4:45 in the morning and knock on his door and ask for my poster. So
you were getting Kathy Najimy, one of the 3 sisters of Sanderson sisters, not the redheaded one and not the blonde one, but the other one. Yep. And she still looks phenomenal for her age.
Oh, she does.
She looks
She's
great.
glorious human.
Very sweet.
Sweet. So that was HorrorHound.
HorrorHound.
In case anybody's wondering. All right, Kent. Hey, Kent. What did you bring for us today?
I just thought it would be fun to bring some fun facts that are also a lot of them kind of disturbing.
Ooh.
So I just looked up what's some weird stuff that maybe people don't know that they should know. Right?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us? Oh, you weren't asking me.
How about this? You love phones, Op.
Love
Your favorite thing. You would die without your phone. It's like medication for you. Did you know that 1 out of every 6 cell phones has shit on it?
Why? How? Why?
Scientists figure it's because people aren't washing their hands after going to the toilet. They tested random people with their phones going by on a sidewalk, and 1 out of every 6 phones had poop on it.
Gross.
Yes.
Well, I do like everybody. I believe a lot of people have phone me time when you're on the toilet. So what you're saying is during that time, maybe post wipe. Oh my gosh, nobody's really thinking about that. If you wipe and then you just grab your phone before you wash your hands, there's an evanescence, if you will.
How do you wipe your ass?
I'm just saying.
You just scoop it off with your fingernails?
No, what I'm saying is toilet paper's a thing, but there's a likelihood that, I don't know. I'm guessing if your hand goes near your butt,
you get a lot of. You need to use more toilet paper if you're having that many bust throughs.
You tell me, okay, Mr. Fax Brain. You tell me if people have poop all over their phones and it's not because of wiping. I'm interested.
I think there's somebody running around at nighttime when we're sleeping putting poop on our phones.
That is a guess. Really rough guess.
But I know that 1 out of every 6 phones has shit on it.
Okay. That's gross.
Yep.
Have you ever seen those little phone cleaners where you could put your phone inside
and
of it?
That's one thing I learned about me and you both over the weekend is that if we say, hey, I've got to go use the bathroom, we know we're not going to see each other for an hour.
It's true. We are both. It goes from, okay, this is about where you'd normally hear a flush time-wise too. Wow, that must be a rough poop. To, I wonder what's going on in there. To, I don't want to know what's going on in there.
To, unlock the door, I'm calling EMS.
Exactly.
And I usually go down TikTok rabbit holes. And I'm just watching TikToks for 30 minutes. Next fact, did you know, this one's for Jess, that in your eyelashes right now you have thousands of little mites?
Really?
Yeah. Just so
right
many.
Now, there's no stopping it.
No stopping it. Little bugs crawling around in your eyelashes right now. And her eyebrows too, yeah. I feel like that mites probably couldn't survive on Jess's eyebrows too, though, because it's such like a barren, just like, I feel like that I feel like Jess's eyebrows are equivalent to like a golf course grass where like no animals.
At night, she puts down like little cones and a barricade around them.
Yeah.
Black and white.
What do you think the first part of your body is to develop in the womb?
Hold on. I think I know this. The first part of your body to develop in the womb is your belly button, I think.
Nope. It's your asshole.
Ah.
We develop asshole first. And to some people, like Ellen DeGeneres, that's all that ever developed. Just a big walking asshole. But yeah, we kind of develop like I like to think that what happens, well, I like to imagine it. I don't know how scientifically accurate this is, but the seed plants in the egg, and then a little asshole develops, and that asshole is always turning, right? Not like spinning, but like inside out. And first a nose comes out of the asshole, and then eyes come out of the asshole, and we just develop by turning out of this asshole.
Yeah, yes. We've talked about water weenies before, those things you can't hold on to.
Yeah.
It's because there is no technical center of it. It's all like a tube. It's a what do you call a torus? It's a torus. The shape of it. Technically, our bodies are that too. The only porous part of our body are our mouth hole and our mouth hole and our anus. Everything else terminates somewhere inside of our body. So your ears terminate, or they connect to either the channel that is your mouth to your butt. Gross, but it's true.
Here's an interesting thought. The picture that's going to be used at your funeral may have already been taken.
Trying to think which picture it'd be. That's disturbing.
I know what one it'll be for me. It'll be my dress blues picture because that's what they use for every military funeral. But yeah, how crazy is that to think? So that picture where you're like, that's just a really good angle of me. That's a fun thought that it'll be on the inside of your coffin lid while you lay there motionless and non-existent anymore. That's kind of fun.
Do you think I should maybe get a dress blues picture taken?
Absolutely. I think everybody should have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of a picture I'd have. All of my pictures are look like before pictures on like a diet app. Oof.
And you know that for your funeral they'll use an after picture.
Well, that's the only one that's going to be there then is.
And they'll like look at the after picture and then look at what's laying in the coffin.
Well, rewind to our scooter experience. I was fully prepared at any moment to get jumped. I don't know if you were, but I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I found myself kind of like looking forward to it. I don't know why.
It was exhilarating. It was exhilarating for you because you're from fucking Idaho.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been jumped in Idaho.
Also, it made
jumped in Idaho.
It made me worried. Here's something. I haven't thinned this out yet, but to make sure that I was prepared, I have my Ridge wallet and exactly 1 inch thick of credit cards ready for use. Ready for use if need be. They all have zero balances on them. But I thought, oh, wait, I've got that in my pocket. If I get jumped, someone's going to like buy a business with it.
And all they would have got from me was a cold burrito. And I didn't even have the cup to eat it from. So
half a solution. They just throw it to the side. They're like, how are we supposed to eat this?
I don't have a cup. How are we supposed to eat these burritos without cups? I hate being home.
That's really troubling. I don't know what picture they would use. Maybe the one that Amber Raptors used as her profile picture on Facebook. Her profile picture on Facebook is currently a school photo from like my 4th grade year. I'm sure all of her family is like, who in the world is this nobody? And then she tells them and they're like, right. Who is this nobody? Oh, man.
You were such a cute kid, though.
So were you. Your picture with the needle teetles where you're like standing there, your eyes and your face look like you're either more excited than you've ever been or you are trying to get away.
I think it was a mixture of both. I don't remember taking that picture. But that did not look like a Ninja Turtle. That looked like Teenage Mutant Roadkill.
Teenage Mutant Macrame.
It looked like a turtle that had been hit by a truck trying to cross the road. It looked like those paper maches where you start with a balloon
and then bailed out from there.
It did. It was really bad.
But you were
I-
excited. It's
I
over
was.
the moon. Your mom's hands looked greasy in the background. Was it at the same fair where she got the pig?
Different fare.
Ah, okay.
We don't talk about
Anyway.
the greased pig anymore because it sends people into convulsions. They get so mad.
That's right. Never mind.
Do you know why your dog or your cat loves that little squeaky toy?
No, why?
The squeak is supposed to mimic a dying, scared animal.
Really?
Yes.
That's what they like about it.
Yes.
Oh,
Here's a
That's-
fun fact about Genghis Khan. Did you know that Genghis Khan killed so many people in his wake that the farmlands in the places where he had been returned to being forests, and killed so many people at such a scale that it actually significantly reduced carbon in the atmosphere?
no. I could
That's
see
how
it.
many people, like, he was like a fucked up Johnny Appleseed. It's like forests just follow this man everywhere he goes. And it's because everybody is dead in his path. I read somewhere, I don't even remember where, but it was like, didn't Genghis Khan at one point in history kill like 30% of the world population?
Yes, it's true. It's true. Well, I don't know if it's factually, but yes, they believe that's the number. That's the number. And are you going to talk about anything having to do with Genghis Khan breeding? Because if not, I've got a thing.
I am not, no.
Okay. He
I know
killed
we're all
30%.
related to him.
That's what I was going to say is there's a massive percentage of the population that familially through DNA can be traced back to Genghis Khan, especially on the Asian continent. And that's wild.
Imagine like having to feel your father's footsteps if your dad was Genghis Khan. Like how it's like, oh, Genghis Khan, more like Genghis Kant.
No, Genghis Dong. You missed. You had a great opportunity missed. You used a word that's going to send people into a tizzy, and you could have used
Can't.
Genghis Dong.
I didn't mean to say cunt. I meant can't. Genghis can't.
Oh, Genghis.
My dad was
Khan.
Genghis Khan. I'm Genghis can't.
Yeah. Feel like we kind of ruined that joke.
Yeah, we did. You sweat an average of 27 gallons of sweat on your bed per year.
Oh, I thought you were going to say per week because that was
No, that's
probably
you.
more accurate for me.
Yeah. And with you, you're sleeping wrapped up in somebody else's sweat.
Yeah. Well, consider this. I sleep in a hotel, sweat to death, and then the next morning I'm murdered and they're trying to figure out who did it. Wow, that investigation just took like a nationwide manhunt and woman hunt for that matter.
Yeah.
They're like, so many people tried to get this guy pregnant.
Very strategic of you in that rare occurrence where that you get stuck in a situation like that. The other 99.999% of the time, you're just wrapped up in semen. So let's weigh the pros and cons here.
It's gross.
Here's one that I know will get your dick hard because it's about Bluetooth.
What the heck?
Do you know that Bluetooth is named after a person, our technology that we use to connect things?
It's named after like the inventor, maybe?
Nope. It was named after King Harold Bluetooth Gormson.
It was named after a king.
Yep, King Harold Bluetooth Gormson. Bluetooth was actually his nickname, and they called him that because he had a decayed tooth up front that was blue. And
Wait, there was a king that was still alive around this time that they invented Bluetooth?
Fucking no. This is historic. This is a historic figure.
Well,
It was in the 10th century, in the 900s.
Oh. Wow.
In the
Why
900s,
would-
King Bluetooth Gormson lived and existed. And he was known for uniting Denmark and Norway. Much the way we unite Bluetooth different devices.
Pairing. So he paired
He paired
Norway and whatever you
and
said
Denmark.
before that, Denmark.
And that's where the phrase Bluetooth comes from.
Oh, that's kind of a sweet story.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
Do you know that Viagra can make flowers stay erect too?
So like your cookies are just really stiff? Bread's like
No, flowers, like the flowers with petals. If you dissolve Viagra in water,
I thought you said flour.
if you dissolve Viagra in
seems like
water and water your flowers with it, they stay alive for a week longer than usual.
Wow, it seems like a really expensive water to make though.
Yeah, it is.
It's like $30 a pill, so they say.
I've got a story here of a woman that lost her wedding ring and found it a decade later wrapped around a carrot in her garden.
She lost it in the dirt. And then
Dirt. Yep. In 1995, a woman in Sweden lost her wedding ring in her garden while getting ready for Christmas. And then 16 years later, in
she ruined a
2011,
carrot wedding.
she picked a carrot from her garden, and her wedding ring was around the carrot.
That's crazy.
How about this? I've went on many tangents in the history of all our shows about my love for Japan and their culture and their people. This just further solidifies that. In Japan, napping at work is honorable.
Really?
It's
I'm
seen
moving
as a
there.
sign of diligence, that you are working so much you got exhausted, and they actually have a term for it, the Japanese do. It's called inamuri, which translates to present while sleeping. So they're fine with napping at work there. Not only is it cool to nap at work, sleeping in public is actually cool in Japan too. It's very normal to sleep in public in Japan on benches or wherever, and you're actually extremely unlikely to get robbed or messed with if you fall asleep in public because it's part of their culture.
I think I just realized what shirt I'm going to make for myself. It's just going to have Japanese writing on it that says inamuri. Inamuri. I might make 10 of them.
I worked for 5 minutes, so it's time to take a break.
Ding.
Here's a fun one. Scientists in the 1600s believed that inside sperm were just little bitty people.
What?
It was called preformationalism, and that was a widely believed theory for scientists in the 1600s. They just believed that tiny, fully formed little humans were curled up inside sperm.
So when do we get out of here? Well, we have to wait until somebody lets us out. How do we get out? Well, they taught us to swim for a reason. Oh my gosh, look at that giant planet.
The op sperm is the only one standing outside going, Siri.
Open egg.
Open egg.
Siri, open egg. Siri, open egg. Greg, don't go in. Ah, man.
The app on only one of all your dad's sperm cells worked. They were all, if you could hear the little voices, it was billions of just little Siri, open egg. Billions of them. It would be so creepy. And only one app went beep and let the little op sperm in. And they all, I feel like, had earpieces in, all your little sperm cells.
I could have sworn I'd paired with Bluetooth. Oh, dang it.
That's fun.
I got one more here that's kind of fun. Did you ever watch Jersey Shore?
It's coming back. I know that, but I haven't watched it ever.
Well, way back during season 2 of Jersey Shore. You know, there's a lot of product placement in Jersey Shore.
Oh,
Well, there is.
okay.
But Abercrombie and Fitch, I'm sure you've heard of Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yep. The old company started in the 1800s, was originally a company that created fishing equipment and outdoor products.
And
Like-
whips.
Not really.
But anyways, they paid a large sum of money to the cast of Jersey Shore to not wear their clothes.
No way. It's like anti-marketing.
Yes. They did not want those Guido meathead dipshits seen wearing their clothes.
Are you kidding? Oh, that is brilliant. Also, how do they, like, also, to what end do you stop paying my, like Snooki's going to come back. She's like, actually, I don't feel like I've gotten enough money for not wearing your clothes. I'm going to need to double it. Like, how do they stop them?
Well, this gave me an idea. I thought this is brilliant. And I've got an idea that we can make money for the podcast.
Okay.
Name a company right now that is like vomit-inducing woke.
Can I just think about it? Because I want to keep our audience. I don't want people like, oh, there goes the conservative again.
We'll say Disney.
Okay. I guess we can all get behind that.
We start making ads for Disney and putting them in all our podcasts.
And we make the discount code like guns911.
And Disney catches wind and they're like, we'll give you $5 million to not put any ads in your shows for our company ever again.
Oh, this is genius. I don't drink
This
beer.
episode of Neverdaily is brought to you by Disney Plus. Disney Plus. We hate white. You hate white. Let's go hate the whites together. Here at Disney
So
Plus, we'll take anything from the past and pretend like we care by making that character Asian or black or gay or a gay Asian.
Gaysian. You think huntsmen are heroic figures? We think they're stalkers.
Disney Plus. Use promo code TCK at checkout. I've got to record my Disney Plus ad for TCK, actually. That's going to be I'm just going to make ads for Disney, and that's the only one I can think of right now. I'm just going to pick a vegan restaurant in my area.
You got to find a vegan restaurant that has a trust fund baby as an owner, because they're the only ones that are willingly going to like throw money at you that way. You can't ruin my image. Me and Greg worked hard here's $5,000 a month. I think I'd probably do Bud Light. I could probably do, like, I don't drink beer, but when I don't drink beer, I definitely don't drink Bud Light. I'll work on it.
You don't drink beer that people spent their time and money and efforts to bring to you all the way to a convention in Indianapolis, Indiana either.
Okay. Can I just have a bit of, no, this is a self-serving gripe. People meet us and they're like, hey, oh my gosh, I brought you guys some stuff. You get like $700 worth of weed. And they're like, and here is a root beer.
I didn't just get weed. I am eating ostrich right here.
What the heck?
Hear me chewing it?
I'm just going to here's how I'm going to sum this up.
It's an ostrich stick.
It's made out of ostrich meat.
Yeah. And I got to say, I'd be eating them. I would have been eating ostrich a long time ago if I'd have known how delicious they were.
You go to a rodeo and everybody with ostrich skin boots, you just start salivating like Pavlov's dog now.
Because of all the birds, ostriches look the dumbest. Big wings, can't fly. They're always like doing that thing where their head just like they're always confused.
Yeah.
Like they
And they're
always
mouth
heard
breathers
something.
too.
Mouth breathers.
They have their beak open.
They've all got alopecia.
Have you ever worked corporate? Like at a corporate place?
No, I've never even been inside one.
So here's a funny thing that happens in corporate is they will have a need to fill a position. But what they do is they have to follow certain laws and regulations, and they can't just play favorites all the time. So they'll do what they'll call the open a requisition, and the requisition is an open job opportunity, right? They've already picked the person that they want to fill that job within the company. They know who they're going to hire, but they have to put it out to the public so that the public can apply for it. And so a bunch of rubes go and apply for this position, but internally they already know that Jane from accounting is getting the position. So it's at this point that I would like to say that 1159 Media is hiring. We are hiring for a senior marketing executive. If you feel like you could fit this position as a senior marketing executive, you have unique, one-off, crazy ways of marketing yourself or attracting people to give you stuff, bring you stuff, make you a problem, because that's actually what you 4 words and suddenly everybody gives reviews to your freaking show, whatever.
Yeah.
It gives you thousands of dollars worth of illegal products when they see you. You're not only are you the
there were T-shirts at the convention
that
that said, "Let's make him a problem."
Yeah, people make T-shirts and come to the convention with your face on it, and it says, help make me a bleeping problem."
Yeah.
If you feel like you have those kind of skills,
yeah,
go to 1159media.com and fill out the contact form. Try to get hired. You may get the job. You won't get the job because I'm doing this to hire Ken as our chief marketing officer. Okay. I'm not frustrated. Just root beer is really hard to take on planes. That's all I'm saying. Should I go into what I brought today?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Do you, I can't remember. Is vampires on the list of movies you do like or don't like?
Vampires? I hate vampires. I did like 30 Days of Night.
What did you think of the one with Wolverine guy in it? Where he was
Jackman?
Yeah, where he was the one that killed crazy creatures in different towns.
Didn't see it. I can think of 2 vampire movies that I liked in all the vampire movies I've ever seen.
Chase just voiced, I saw his lips move, Van Helsing.
No, thank you.
You didn't like it? You got to watch it. Here's the thing. It's not just about vampires or ghosts or anything like that. I would put it on 13 Ghosts level. I liked Van Helsing. I really did. I thought it was good. Very good script, good actors, good acting.
30 Days of Night, An Interview with the Vampire.
30 Days of Night, 100%. I don't know if I've ever seen Interview with the Vampire, to be honest. I worked at the movie theater when it was there.
That movie is so good.
I need to watch it, I guess. I'll go watch it.
It's the only movie I've ever, it's got so heavily gay undertones that somehow like never come out, but it's like you almost in the movie with blue balls. Even if you're straight, like even by the end of the movie, I'm straight mostly. And I was wanting Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt to fuck. Like, okay, God, can we just get this over with? Suck each other's vampire dicks or something like. And because vampires live forever, they meet in like the 1600s and they're still together, but in the 1900s. And it's like, you've got this sexual, like repression. You've been holding it in for so long. Just fuck already. Good Lord. Just go ahead and fuck. And I don't even, as a straight man, I don't know another straight man that wouldn't want to watch Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise fuck. I have to watch two men fuck. I would pay to watch Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt fuck, especially dressed up as vampires.
This took a hard left from where
Tom
where
Cruise is arguably not the best looking man now, but Brad Pitt still got it, baby. Brad Pitt still got it. And this is when they were in their prime. They were in like their probably late 20s in Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. Yep. So you do like vampires?
Just when they're Tom Cruise and they're Brad Pitt and they're fucking.
Okay. Well, sharpen your fangs and grab a cup of your finest human V8 juice. And let's dive into a vampire tale straight out of Poland. Packed with more absurdity and zest than a late night infomercial. Headline for this one is Poland's latest trend, anti-vampire ankle accessories. Because, well, werewolf for peasant. The headline for this is Poland's latest trend, anti-vampire ankle accessories, because werewolf repellent is so la santra. In a small town in Poland, where one might expect to find quaint bakeries and postcard-perfect sceneries, archaeologists who, by the way, probably signed up to find pottery shards and not undead preventatives, have uncovered a juicy medieval mystery. Imagine, if you will, digging up a 17th century child, not wearing the latest sneakers, but with a padlock around his ankle. It wasn't the old school version of a grounding punishment in this case. This was, okay, so Darius Polinsky, along with his ever-curious crew from the totally not space-related Nicholas Copernicus University, have been up to their elbows in ancient dirt at an early medieval necropolis graveyard. And they have stories. Last year, these dirt detectives found a lady who seemed to have an ankle accessory similar to our padlocked kid. It was a padlock, yep, right on the big toe. Not around the ankle, big toe, because as you might guess, just like today's fashion, preventing the dead from rising and going on a biting spree with all the rage that they could possess was all the rage. I mean, who'd want to be woken up at 3 a.m. by Aunt Gertrude wanting to bite you? Well, fast forward to the most recent find, who's a young boy, roughly aged between 5 to 7 years old, and he wasn't just peacefully lying on his back in this case, gazing at the eternal sky. No, he was face down. According to brilliant minds, the burial method was like saying, in case of a rise, ensure family is firmly planted in the ground. Ideally, if the deceased got any late night snacking cravings, it'd be a mouthful of dirt and not, say, your neighbor. So nestled between our potentially Dracula in training, there lay another padlock, eerily similar to the one the medieval lady was rocking. There's some chatter that a part of him might have been stolen by bone aficionados of the time. Makes you kind of appreciate modern problems like forgetting your Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth not connecting. So the plot, like my grandma never said, blood is thicker than water. Here, watch. Surrounding our little vamp's final resting place were other juvenile skeletal remains, with one having a peculiar green-stained jawbone. I'd like to imagine they just enjoyed a green popsicle right before they died, but historians are murmuring something about ancient medicinal treatments involving metal, maybe molten metal. But hey, fashion statements, right? Among these was a pregnant woman's remains. Miraculous. They also found her fetus. A shocking discovery. It was dead.
Oh, you don't
Shocking.
say.
Yeah.
400
shocking
years
dis-
it's been down there. It didn't pull through.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it was around a lot of other bodies. You never know. But it was kind of shocking because given the fragility of fetus, their bones are extremely fragile. If they have much bones at all, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. If the needle was extremely delicate and the haystack was, well, filled with a bunch of more needles. So it was quite the find that they'd find this lady and her baby. So a stroll around this gossip-filled graveyard further revealed another vampire prevention kit on a lady from yesteryears. A sickle was strategically placed around her neck. If she even thought about a post-death stretch, well, she would have a short-lived adventure because it would cut her head off. So summing it all up, back in those days in Poland, becoming a suspected vampire was easier than forgetting your morning V8 juice. Died under weird circumstances, you're a vampire. Looked a bit pale, vampire. Listened to too much goth music. Okay, maybe not that, but you get the gist, because goth music was actually like probably the only music you're allowed to listen to back then. It was just different, not as many electric guitars. So next time you're grumbling about your Bluetooth connection, as Kent said, or misplaced keys, just be thankful you're not sporing the latest in anti-vampire ankle wear like this little boy was when he was given a dirt nap face down.
I'm looking at pictures of this and I'm having trouble understanding how the ankle wear was supposed to stop the vampire.
Now that you mention it, here's the problem that they'd have. It really doesn't work, because let's say you put ankle wear on the person and then what do? You stake it into the ground. Well, in order for the vampire to get out and bite anybody, they have to dig themselves out, which means they would also dig out the stake that was holding them in the ground. So they really didn't think that one through.
I didn't think any of it through, because even the woman that was buried with the
sickle
across her throat.
Yeah.
You don't just wake up in a grave and set up.
Right. Yeah, not possible, because the dirt's all around you. You're not sitting up anyway. You wouldn't even know a sickle was there until you started to dig yourself out, and then you'd find the sickle and you'd be like, oh,
here. Better get that out of the way so it doesn't cut my head off.
Exactly. So you dig it out along the way. Yeah, they didn't really have a foolproof method for this. The best ones I've seen are the ones where it's like a metal cage that completely ensconce the person, and they're not getting out of that.
I'm looking at pictures of this padlock, and I'm failing to understand. Oh, you said that they nailed it
to the ground.
This is
see
dumb.
Again.
We were so stupid.
Not work. They were. Also, I think that might be creepier in my mind. Seeing a full-grown adult trying to come at me, biting me, is like a thing.
Yeah.
But seeing a child come at you. Have you ever had a scrappy child come at you, like run at you? They're hard to stop.
Like a cat. Yeah.
Yeah. You go for their neck and they're like, and they get around you and then they're like in your groin.
They're like, oh, get out of here. I don't know you.
Yeah. and you lose composure when an adult comes at you. There's body to grab, but a child, as soon as they get away from your hands, you kind of do that like weird, the hop step dance.
But that's because you don't want to hurt them. Like, I could fucking wreck a child if I wanted to. Like,
yeah.
Think about how hard you could kick a child. Like if it was running at you.
Pretty hard, actually. No. Especially if they had any kind of speed behind their run. Like you could really, but we're talking about a kid that's undead. So it's not like going to not get back up. It's getting back up. Before you know it, I think the struggle ensues. Your groin, the inside of your leg is going to be bit.
Oh, that's what you're missing at least one testicle.
Ugh.
Sure.
So anyway, those are the vestigial remains of my story about a vampire child who's 400 years old. For what reason, we don't know. But like they said, everybody was a vampire back then.
I actually really enjoyed that. I love old bodies, like finding old bodies stories.
You know, it was weird watching you stare at different people at HorrorHound. They were always the older ladies.
I don't know, man. I like mature women.
You know what you can't say anymore? Fat bottom girls.
Even though that was never a diss, that was always a compliment.
Yeah, it's off of the greatest hits of Queen album now because somebody had a problem with it. Okay, let's just go through.
And I tell you, whoever had a problem with it, fucking pancake ass. Just a flat ass. Just looks like a 90-year-old man in blue jeans.
They were coming back from a protest where an animal testing protest, and Fat Bottom Girls was on the radio, and they're like, "This is my new thing. This is my new jam."
And then
so it's off of the best of
car there.
You can't listen to it anymore on the best of. They've removed it from new versions of the album being put out. Also, who buys albums anymore is the argument I have. And can you think of how many rap albums are just gone if we follow those that approach?
Girl, you look. Won't you back that ass up? You's a fine motherfucker. Won't you back that ass up? Oh yeah, call me Big Daddy when you back that ass up. Girl, who is you playing with? Back that ass up.
Right?
I know you can't stand it, Dick Bandit.
Have you ever heard the song Story of OJ
Simpson?
The song is called The Story of OJ. It's by Jay-Z.
No.
You ever heard that one?
No.
My son introduced me to that song on the drive back from the mountains. I'll just read you some of the lyrics here. Skin is skin. Is skin black? My skin is black. My skin is yellow. Light, dark, faux, real. Rich, poor. House, field. Still.
Sounds pretty good.
Nope. You know how we had that one episode of TCK where we made Australians blush?
Yes.
I think this song makes black people blush. I think this song is probably hard for them to sing in public.
What would you say is a song that makes white people blush? I would say anything by like ICP.
Yeah.
Like every time ICP's on and I like make eye contact with a black guy, I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
The only reason I tolerate it is because Jess is such a fan.
ICP's probably on the table. Also, God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. Like, because white people, when they sing that song, it's like alcohol for them. They get drunk. They just can't. The patriotism is like a venereal disease. They really just try to spread it everywhere when they're singing that song.
Which song?
The one by Lee Greenwood. God Bless the USO. And I'm proud to be an American.
Where at least I know I'm free. And I won't be the jet. Bonka donka tree and a Sally planned out next to him.
And I would also not want to listen to any David Allen Coe around.
I used to think you could listen to Kenny Rogers, but you can't.
I actually wouldn't want to listen to David Allan Coe around anybody that had all their teeth. So that's been Extraterrestrials, or whatever this show is.
It's Neverdaily podcast.
Bye.
Hugs, everybody.